Thanks to Watson about why this is so significant and kicking off the day, celebrating many years as Gullah Geechee ring shouters, and literally the group you are about to see next to the stage are one of the world's top performing Geechee Gullah ring shouting groups around the world. Please break out your cameras, get ready to record, get ready to share it with your friends and family around the world. Without further ado, please welcome to the stage Mr. Lotson. Hi Lotson, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to be here with you. We're just going to share a little bit of history here on Hilton Island, and we have something special because it's we don't normally do this on a regular basis, but we might show a small presentation of what they call a Carolina Gold, which is very important to the Gullah Geechees and the Hilton Island area. And you're going to hear about the Carolina Gold rice, and we call it the Trinity. A good friend of mine, Jamal, taught me that term, which is rice, indigo, and cotton, which was the major staple things that brought the enslaved here. As we travel around the world, I remember saying this on BBC News a few years ago when I was in West Africa at their museum in Sierra Leone. And I say this to every media that we talk to globally around the world, and that phrase is simply, we're the only culture in America that has its birth out of something called slavery. So, as we know, slavery was not a very good thing, but because of that, a culture was born, and now it is known globally, and we're trying to carry this history around the world. So we are very privileged that this island that allowed us to come and present the history, and it is important to the history of the world, not just to Hilton Head, not just to the Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Quarter. It is also important to world history. And hopefully you're going to learn a lot about our culture that people from around the world did not know was a part of the culture as we prepare ourselves to present it to you. As people are gathering, we say just a little bit. We had the privilege because of what we do. We receive an unusual message from the Vatican and the Pope. And at their world event of families, they wanted to present what we had to bring. So we bring it here today. And I'm very proud to say I went through my archives of history, and it was right here on Hilton Head. We did something, and you're going to see it yourself on today. We talk about our language, saying things like, "Come yadisha that day," which was birthed on those plantations. It was on Hilton Head. So this is kind of a refreshing time for us historically, and I put a smile on my face because we've been saying the same thing for about a decade. And we came here to Hilton Head, and we're going to share a little bit today, and we always had the hope that maybe we'll get 100,000 hits, and go viral on the internet. They'll fix that fading away in a little bit, and it might be because of me. And lo and behold, we looked on the internet. Not only did we reach 100,000, I thought maybe we were not looking at it correctly, and we had already hit 2.4 million people. And it was filmed right here on Hilton Head Island. We could not believe it. I had to check it 5, 6, 7 times. I said, I can't believe it. A month later, it went to 2.5 million. Last time I checked, it was at 2.6 million. So we're here on Hilton Head again. So maybe now we'll go to what? 5 million, okay? So it's being resonated all over the world. Now, as we are on stage now, we're going to prepare ourselves to get ready, and they're working on the mics. So it's probably me creating the problem. He says we're good. Is that we want to now slow it up a little bit. We are not entertainers. Everybody you see up here, yes, we're part of the art performance culture right now. Yes, we've done things all over the world. Movie production roots, you're going to hear a little bit about that. Birth of a Nation, you might hear a little bit about that later. Documentaries, we were on CNN special. We're getting ready to go to here in South Carolina. There is a international conference we'll be going to soon, sharing some of the same things, maybe a little bit more. Our time is limited today. But right now, as we prepare ourselves with the Geechee Gullah ring shouters, everyone up here have our ancestry from some plantation. There's one individual we normally say that we do. It's up here also. Their name is Joanne Waltower Ross. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but they are from the Waltower plantation. And their family, even though they're African Americans and descendants of slavery, still carries the plantation owner's name. And everyone else is from Butler Island Plantation and many other plantations here in the Deep South that you see on this stage. So we're not just acting, we were birthed into this moment that you see here today. As I said, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it is Joanne Waltower Ross. So if you see somebody have something that looks a little bit like a washboard, that'll give you a pretty good idea who it is. Now let's go to the Rockefellers. It was the gentleman that sung this song with us, Willis Proctor, and it goes a little bit like this. One of these days, one of these days, one of these days, when the Lord called me home, Brother Jack, one of my brother, one of these days, when the Lord called me home. Yes. How are you doing out there?
Already. Y'all know one thing, when I say Hannah for BOD, that's how you doing out there. We can't speak correct English, but that ain't who we is. So y'all want to see who else is. We the Geechee Gullah ring shouters. When we go into our various churches on Sunday morning, we come out, we look at one another, we say, how about that religion? And nowadays we say, oh, it's so sweet. We don't say them like that. We say, how about that religion? 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 Show that religion. Show that religion. Show that religion. Show that religion. Go tell everybody about that religion. Make me happy. Make me happy. Rock that religion. Rock that religion. Rock that religion. Rock that religion. Go tell everybody about that religion. Make me happy. Make me happy. Shout that religion. Shout that religion. Shout that religion. Shout that religion. Go tell everybody about that religion. Make me happy. Make me happy. All right. Y'all like that? I don't know if I was managed to tell y'all, we've been short for the Pope in 2015 in Philadelphia. Around the same stage where they do it mass. Now they give us a whole lot of men, they break them down to a little bit of men. But you know one thing, one day Gabriel gonna blow his horn, we gonna have to go back with Jesus. Now you know what? Jesus ain't coming back down here no more. Y'all ask me why, I tell you why, because they didn't treat him good when he been here. Blow Gabriel! Blow Gabriel! Blow Gabriel! Blow Gabriel! Go tell everybody it's judgment day. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Don't give up. Don't give up. Go tell my mama, my father too. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Go tell my sister, my brother too. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Don't give up. Don't give up. Go tell everybody it's judgment day. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Go tell my sister, my brother too. We gotta leave. We gotta go. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. All right. Now look here. Us done get up here and start something. But us gotta tell you how come I talk like a serious. Yeah, imagine Can you
Yeah.
tell her? Okay, all right. She said she can do it, so she gonna do it for you.
As we travel, we like to educate our young folks. And let me tell you, that little tune that they sing up here, they done a good job.
All right,
Yeah, they done good. I've been proud of them children.
all right,
But I like to
children.
see little children do stuff.
Children.
Well, as we travel, we educate. Heritage is what we preach. Hatred is not what we teach.
Oh no.
But what we want our young folks to know is that they've got a destiny.
Yes.
And if they don't know where they came from, when they get where they're going, they won't know what to do, how to act when they get there. So we let them know that when we came from Mother Africa, we were all placed on different plantations.
All right.
And we had to learn how to communicate with one another.
All right.
So we formed our own language.
That's right.
Had we maintained our language, we could stand in the grocery line like some of us Gullah Geechee ring shouters do, and hold a conversation, and no one would know what we're talking about.
Still do
It is so important for young folks to understand that it is all right to talk the way great-grandma and grandpa talked, because that's what brought us here.
All right.
And I remember like yesterday myself.
I remember like it was yesterday.
When I first had to go to school.
When I first went to school.
You know what I done the night for?
This is what I did the night before.
I go into the shift room,
To the dresser.
get me frock,
My dress.
and I brung them out there and laid it on the settee.
Brought it to the living room and laid it on the sofa.
And my brother had the breeches and the broke in there.
His pants and his boots.
And for the next morning, you know what I done? I get up
I got up.
and I heist the window.
I raised the window.
And I walked out on the piazza.
On the porch.
And I seen my great grandma. I said, how wonderful be?
How you doing?
They said, my joint the hut.
My joints hurt.
I said, well, wonderful do.
What are you doing?
They said, I eat my ration.
My food.
They said, very wonderful go.
Where are you going?
I said, I go into the schoolhouse.
Uh-huh.
They said, look yonder.
Look over there.
You see that dark cloud.
It's gonna rain.
Bring the parasol.
Umbrella.
I walked out in the yard.
Yard.
I saying had no cat.
No car.
Child, I seen this coulda creeping across the yard.
Turtle crawling across the yard.
Going down yonder to the schoolhouse, and I seen two of them.
Women.
One that's stout and one that narrow.
One was fat, one was skinny.
And they all having the prettiest air balls.
Earrings.
And I said, you know what? I go back to the kids.
To the house.
When I get there, first thing they say,
First thing.
go to the ice box.
Refrigerator.
Put yourself a belly wash or soda water,
Soft drink.
and get the yard broom.
The rake.
And sweep the yard.
And rake the yard.
Now, you know, I hear them, then they used to say pint.
Point.
When they say giant,
Joint.
they say gine,
Going.
giant.
Join.
And I ain't know what been happening. But what happened?
The old took a roll and just roll along.
And then I hear him say, yeah.
Yard.
I hear him say, staff.
Start.
I hear him say, lad,
Large.
patty.
Party.
What happened?
The hour took that one leg and ran.
And see, we thought that was cute. We thought that was funny. But after we searched that thing,
Come on.
we found out if O come before I, the old folks didn't pronounce the O.
Didn't have time.
If A came before R, they did not pronounce the R. They just said cat, yeah. They left the R off. Then we also found out one thing. They said this year, that day. The TH ain't been there.
No.
They said them. If you listen to Steve Harvey every now and then, he slip them. He said mom and them. The TH, if it came before the vowel, they didn't pronounce the T and the H.
All
They
right.
put a D there.
That's right.
And then I looked down here at my foot.
Uh-huh.
And these are the programs I've got on children.
The boots.
Yeah, and we wear them for form and fashion now. But us folks, y'all got to understand, they won't because they had to.
That's right.
They had no choice. We tell the young folks they've been working in the swamp. Master gave to them.
He gave them to
And
him.
if Master gave size 7 and our feet in size 9,
Thank you for paper.
I couldn't read, know how they left, learn how to read. If been the opposite way,
Oh,
we
you
ball
took
out. But what we did,
Thank you.
we thank Master anyhow. The reason why we humble ourselves and we thank Master is so we can stand on this stage today and tell y'all how it been. So as we tell our young folks when we travel across the countryside, say yes, sir. Say no, sir.
All right.
It is better to be talked to than to be talked about.
All right. Now, Magic, look here now. You done messed up because you was talking about Master. Now, you know Master was good to read. Yeah, Master gave us something to eat. Yeah, he did. He did. Gave us some chicken feet. Gave us some pigtail, some neck bone, some backbone, some hog head, some chitlin and all such like as that. And you know one thing? Us learned how to make a mean pork pork. But now every now and then you want a good piece of meat. Something about us, we go down to the store, buy a load of Publix or Winn-Dixie, we have our choices, and we just stick our hand. Us women do it all the time. Stick our finger in the meat. We just want to see, I guess, if it's going to rise back up. But every now and then you want a good piece of meat. So you have to remember that Daniel was a slave. Daniel on the outside. Daniel knew that master had some good meat in the house. So Daniel said to himself, I'm going up in there and get me a good piece of meat now. Y'all tell me when master coming. Now, if master was in the house, you said go the other way. Now, if master was coming through that door, you said do the eagle wing and you got to run fast. But now, but one thing now, whenever you mess up, where you going? When you're doing some bad thing, where y'all going? You going to what? You going to hell? Sinners going to hell? I didn't know that. Lord, have mercy, have mercy. But he goes inside the house and he had to run fast because master been in there. But he was not thieving. He was not stealing. He was surviving because Maya just said, oh, Lord, where's sinner gone? Oh, Lord, sinner gone to hell now. Move down your move. Move down your move. Move down your move. Move down your move. Shout down your shout. Shout down your shout. Rock down your rock. Rock down your rock. Do the eagle wing. Do the eagle wing. On the other side. On the other side. Move down your move. Move down your move. Move down your move. Move down your move. Shout down your shout. Shout down your shout. Rock down your rock. Rock down your rock. Do the eagle wing. Do the eagle wing. On the other side. On the other side. Oh, Lord. Well, oh, Lord. Still going to hell now. All right. All right.
All right. Yes, thank you, Ms. Joanne Walter Ross. She's the president of our group. Keep us in order. Right about now, we don't do this every time, but Ophelia, if you can, grab one of those rice and give me one. The reason why we're doing this in Carolina is very important to the culture, and they call it Carolina Gold. My mother tells me all of the stories about fanning the rice. Now, if you go over to West Africa, you still will see some of these traditions going on. So back in the day, before you had the grocery stores, it's kind of showed them a little bit because we got a little bit of wind now, Ophelia, how they would do this. And when they do that, it picks up and it blows it away so that you can have a good meal. So they did this in real life, and in Carolina, which made it famous throughout America, especially during the plantations eras. Thank you, Ophelia. Now, we got a couple other things we want to see, the life everlasting, if you don't mind, Captain Jack there. These are some of the things that we still practice today. I still make my tea, and people still call us from around the country to learn of the herbal ways. Long before, we couldn't go to the master's doctors, so we had to get creative. So we learned the herbs that are growing out here. I can almost guarantee if you let this grow, you will see some life everlasting, perhaps some sassafras and so many other plants that we use for healing of the body. Now this is the part that you can play a part in. We do it in colleges, universities, high school, elementary, libraries, wherever we travel, we do this. I believe we did this in Canada when we traveled there. So all of you guys are going to learn a little bit of what we give you. You saw us turning in this weird circle counterclockwise. You heard this special beat that we have there. We're going to tell you a little bit about that special polyrhythmic beat that not just because we do it because it's a part of the culture that takes us back across the water to Africa. So in just a few moments, we're going to show you that. The ring came from West Africa counterclockwise that you see here. We just didn't make up this dance move for ourselves. It came from the history. This special beat that all of you guys are going to learn, and we hope that you will. And there'll be time that we'll answer more questions after the performance, and we'll be able to take pictures with some of you as time allows. So we have 3 engagements today, so we're just traveling like Elvis today. So this is our first one and one of our most important ones because you guys help us make history with over 2 million hits. Now, here we go. This is the beat. See if you can learn it. Now, we tell the colleges and little children, so act like you're a little child, and then we make them warm their hand up. I see an old man with a beard. He's thinking he's 12 years old up here. So rub those hands together. Now we're going to teach you this beat. It's very important. It's a polyrhythmic beat which came from West Africa. I know it came from there because we were over there and we saw this beat and now we are emulating it. Are you ready? It goes like this, and see if you can catch up. You don't see drums because drums were banned in South Carolina first, okay? Then Georgia and then throughout America, and that's a long story. We'll explain that later. But right now, here's the beat. They couldn't stop us from doing this. So see if you can learn it. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, the young old man up front, he's got it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, the stick man, the stick man. Yeah. Now, the washboard, the washboard. If you notice, it's all the same beat. If you notice, it's all the same beat. All right. And as we often say, believe it or not, Hollywood's movie roots paid us to teach them that. Thank you very much. All right.
St. Simon, where we were very close to. There's a place that some of you may have visited called Ebo's Landing. Well, it was not always called Ebo's Landing. It was called Dunbar Creek, or Dunbar River. Well, on St. Simon, some planners decided that they needed some helpers. So they went over to a place called Ebo Land in West Africa, and they got some free men and women, put them on a boat, and decided to bring them down to Sea Island, St. Simon Island, Georgia. But they got a chief, and he had heard of this thing called slavery. And the closer they got to the islands, he began to talk to what was left of his group. And he told them that we're going to a thing they call slavery. We don't want to be a slave. We are going back to Mother Africa. The only way that we can go to Mother Africa is if we become a spirit. In order to become a spirit, you have to be absent from the body. But he told them when we land on that island, what we're going to do is we're going to take a trip. We're going to step out into that ocean, and we're going to take wings, and we're going to fly back to Mother Africa. So exactly what he said they did when they landed on St. Simon, on Dunbar River, when they decided to take them off of the ship, the chief looked at his people, spoke in his native tongue. They didn't know what was going on, but as they took a step, they stepped from that ship and into the ocean. And before they realized it, a number of them had drowned themselves in that ocean over there at Dunbar River. To this day, you can hear the groans and the moans certain times of the year of some of our ancestors down yonder in that river. Well, it was so profound until they changed the name of Dunbar River to Ebo's Landing. And we sing this hymn. We dedicate it to those flying spirits that want to go back to Mother Africa.
Now give me 2 wings, yeah, to bear my faith. Now give me 2 wings, yeah, to bear my feet. Now give me 2 wings, to fly away, so the world can't do me no harm. Somewhere morning, when the fight is over,
was looking out yonder, and I saw some pretty people out there. I always look for ugly people, but I don't never find them. But Fred Sanford had tripped me up. You know a red fox. He said, if you think a child ain't got some ugly parents, you follow home. Well, little girl had the baby, and I go in there to see the little baby. I picked the little baby. My son told me not to go in there because I ain't been under my son's baby, but I didn't know. I going in there because, you know, grandparents love their baby. I going in there, and I cup the little baby head, and the foot come out. I cup his foot, the head come out. So I get the little baby, and I look at him, and I say, woo! Woo! I couldn't think of no word to say about that baby, but you know what? I am preaching, I ain't lying. You know why I say, that sure is a fine baby. But Masha, can you tell us how come us look like us is?
We're black.
We what?
We are black.
Oh, okay. All right.
So what if I am a black woman? Is it a disease? Because if it is, I sure hope that it's catching. Because what they need to do with us, they need to pour us in a bottle, label it, and sprinkle us over all of the men and women who ever worked to die, lived to cry for either one of us. So what if I am a black woman? Is it a crime? Well, arrest me. Because I am smart, but I'm still learning. And you black men know that we black women can be hateful.
All right.
But we like to eat, feed, clothe, house, me, mine, and yours for the past 300 years.
All right.
So what if I am a black woman?
What?
Is it insane? Well, commit me. Because I want truth, not lies. Sunshine, not rain. Pleasure, and not pain. And I'm looking for a man and not a child.
I got that.
So what if I am a black woman? Is it a sin?
Yeah.
Well, pray for me
Uh-huh.
and pray for yourself.
All right.
Because if you don't like women of color, we are midnight black.
That's it.
We are chestnut brown.
Yes.
Cocoa dip, big lip, big hip, big breasted, and beautiful. All at the same time.
I got that.
So what if I am a black woman? Does it bother you that much that I want a man to love me, to trust me, to respect me, and to give me everything? Because God knows we give you everything plus. So what if I am a black woman? I've worked for them, died for them, laid for them on every plantation, from Alabama to Boston and back. So what if I am a black woman? I am as I've always been. Near you, close to you, beside you, caring, giving, and sharing. Your black woman for over 300 years. I love me, and I want you to love me too.
All right. Y'all like that? I'm going to ask some of the showers to go down and grab some young people, and we're going to pick up leaves now. You know, some could be,
right.
some people say
Audience
picking up
participation.
leaves. Some say picking up leaves, but I went to Sunday school every Sunday morning, and my parents couldn't read. They couldn't read, especially my uncle. And every Sunday he get the word like Nebuchadnezzar, he said big word, and he get Shadrach, Meshach, and big word. Abednego, he said big word, big word, big word. So I didn't learn the Bible story till I went to school, and I learned how to put the ABCs together, and I learned for myself. So we gonna pick up some leaves, and you know, they were hiding themselves. They pinned the leaves on themselves because they didn't even know they was naked. You know what? I could have walked around here with no clothes on. I might have had to pin some stuff up, but I wouldn't have had to put on no clothes. But they messed up. Jack, if you will.
Oh, Eve, very bad. Oh, Eve, Adam in the garden, picking up leaves. What? Call Adam.
Pick it up, leaves. Pick it up, leaves.
What? Call Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Even Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Even Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Oh,
Pick it up, leaves.
oh, Adam.
Pick it up, leaves. Pick it up, leaves.
What? Call Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Adam apple.
Pick it up, leaves.
Adam apple.
Pick it up, leaves.
Oh,
Pick it up, leaves.
oh, Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
What? Call Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
What? Call Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Even Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Even Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Adam came.
Pick it up, leaves.
Adam came.
Pick it up, leaves.
Oh, Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Oh, Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
What? Call Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
What? Call Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
They was picking.
Pick it up, leaves.
They was picking.
Pick it up, leaves.
Pick, 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 pick.
Pick it up, leaves.
Pick, 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 pick.
Pick it up, leaves.
Oh, Adam.
Pick it up, leaves.
Oh,
everywhere we go, people always ask, are you training other young folks to carry on the culture? Of course we are. Those young people that just participated, guess what? They are carrying it on. So children mimic what you do. It'll never die. It'll never die out. But the question is always asked, what did your foreparents bring with you when they came over? And of course, Marsha, y'all just heard her recite that poem. She's quick on the mouth. She said, they ain't bring nothing because it's been an unplanned trip. So yours truly, our Maya Angelou, went back home and she penned words to this poem, and we are going to ask her to present it to you all at this time.
You know, it's real humorous, and it was to the folks when the question was asked. What did they bring? And she said it was an unplanned trip, and it sounds kind of funny, but it bothered me, and it troubled my spirit, because I knew our ancestors wasn't looking for what they got. So I began to think about it, and I thought if I could just say a word, if I could find out from them how they felt, then I could maybe display it to these people. I could let them know just how our ancestors felt. And it troubled me in my spirit. And as I began to think about that thing, I sat down and I took a trip, y'all, in my spiritual mind. I took a trip from earth to glory. And as I found myself sitting in the center, and I asked our ancestors, some of them had been gone a long time, and I said to them, down on planet Earth, somebody wants to know, what did y'all bring with you? I said, and as an ambassador from planet Earth, I want to know because I want to let them know. And I heard them as they said to me, say, child, let me tell you, you go back to planet Earth and you tell them this year. We didn't ask to come over there. You tell them it was a beautiful day in our village. There was not a cloud showing. There was a cool breeze blowing. We decided to go down to the seaside. As we walked along, from out of nowhere, these bruised strangers came. They put shackles on our feet. They put shackles on our hands. We were dehumanized, Margie. Never again were we treated like a woman or a man. They herded us like livestock, throw us into the bottom of a dirty, dirty ship on the way to an unknown destination. It was an unplanned trip. You go back and you tell them. I said we crossed the deep blue sea to a foreign shore. It was a place we did not know and a place we certainly didn't ask to go. You tell them that we worked untiringly. We gave them a life of comfort and ease. They tried to take everything away from us, girl, even our dignity. Our women, too, were misused and abused. Everything they were asked to do, they did it. Never once did they refuse. Tell them that the only thing we brought from Mother Africa with us was our memories that helped to sustain us, that helped us to stay and keep ourselves in this thing that they call slavery. You tell them. To this day, some people can't understand how we can live and still yet be. But it's not who we are, but whose we are that has determined our destiny. You tell them that we are a mystery. We can live and still yet be in the midst of any struggle or strife that they send our way. Well, Margie, you go back now and you tell them that we never forgot Mother Africa, because as the evening shadows would appear, sometimes we cast a weary eye toward Mother Africa. We think about our former years, girl. We think about that dirty, dirty ship. Be sure you tell them that it was an unplanned trip. Soon I will be done with the trouble of this world. The trouble of this world. The trouble of this world. Soon I will be done with the trouble of this world. I'm going home to live with my Lord. got to leave y'all now. But what we're going to do is close our closing theme, and I want y'all to remember, hatred is not what we teach, but heritage is what we preach. Now, we had the good fortune to visit the church that Harriet Tubman worshiped in when we were in Canada. And as we visited that church, we could help but not think about Harriet Tubman. History relates that she took from 300 to 700 from slavery to freedom. And Harriet had what we call a trusted friend. We call it Mr. P. Now, this Mr. P, she got ain't real. Don't y'all run, it ain't real. But it's a replica of what Harriet may have carried with her. Now, if you started the journey with Harriet, you had to go all the way. As we never know who is in our company. Down in McIntosh County, Georgia, we were auditioning for an opera. But they came from New York City. And we did not know that they brought the Poet Laureate of the United States with them.
Yes.
Her name is Tracy K. Smith.
Yes.
And because of the rendition we did about Harriet Tubman, because of the soulful singing of the song Wade in the Water, she went back to New York. She wrote a book of poems. She dedicated it to the Geechee Gullah ring shouters. Not only that, she named the book Wade in the Water. That book is written by Tracy K. Smith. So if you get a chance, see if you can find that book. And know that you knew the people it was dedicated to. Now, as we think about Harriet Tubman, and we think about the ones that were still left behind, we sing this song, Wade in the Water, and we dedicate it to the memory of Harriet Tubman. Now, Harriet was back in the 20th century, or the 19th century. We're in century 21. So we give thanks to God. And we do a praise dance for Harriet. And all that she went through.
Way in the water, way in the water, children, way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. You are the way in the water. Oh, way in the water, children, way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, if you believe I've been redeemed, you ought to follow me down to the Jordan stream. You know I stepped in the water was cold. You know it chilled my body, but not my soul. You are the way in the water, oh, way in the water, children, way in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Now listen, on New Year's Eve, we just did the season. We go into our various churches, and we have what we call a watch night service.
All right,
It is important for the young folks to know it was not called watch night.
all right.
It was called freedom night.
Yes.
The reason being because Abraham Lincoln had wrote a decree, said that on January 1, we'd all be set free. So when we go into our churches on December 31st, we symbolize and waiting for January 1, 1863. Not in the old church, where it would leak outside and rain outside.
All right.
There would be an old deacon there, and he would go to the window, and he would say, "Old day, we still sing the song, yonder come day." They didn't even know they was calling Freedom Day.
All right.
And it was all because of those that were left on the plantation.
All right. All day, all day, all day, all day. I see day, oh, I see day. Day is a breaking, oh, day is a breaking. Oh, day, oh, day, oh, day. Hush, hush. I hear something. free. Praise the Lord. I'm no longer bound, yeah. Chains, oh, yeah, yeah. My soul is resting. Count it a blessing, yeah. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. I'm free. I am free. I'm free, yeah. Praise the Lord. I'm no longer bound, yeah. Chains, so, yeah, yeah. My soul is resting. Count it a blessing, yeah. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah, yeah. I'm free. Farewell, last gone. See you again. Farewell, last gone. See you again. Hope to see you. See you again. Hope to see you. See you again. Come back another time. See you again. Come back another again. See you again. Farewell, goodbye. See you again. Farewell, goodbye.
Thank you. We certainly want to thank Hilton Head and the committee for allowing us to be here again. And certainly we're going to take this message and this experience from Hilton Head to other locations, not only just in America, but around the world. Thank you very much from the Geechee Gullah Ring Shouters. Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all, please make some noise one more time. Our Geechee Gullah Ring Shouters. Mr. Watson, you would agree an important part of the history was carried in the word and in the song because you couldn't find it in books, you couldn't find it in papers. These stories were not going to be told unless it was performed 2 generations, correct?
Absolutely. And certainly what you've seen here, it has resonated, I would say, over the last 60 to 90 days because of what Hilton Head did for us a little while ago, and we had no idea it would run into the millions. And I kid you not, BBC Worldwide News, largest morning talk show, New York Times, CNN, movies, documentaries, all of this has happened since we paid a visit here to Hilton Head, and somebody videoed us. And next thing we know, it went around the world. So thank you, Hilton Head, for what you're doing. Keep up the good work.